morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you, and I hope your Saturday is off to a great start. There's always work to be done on the Rancho. As you guys know, we had the fun of fishing last weekend, but now we've got the job to continue doing of the pruning the fruit trees here. And I want this to be a very small, well-maintained orchard over here, and I want to make sure these trees are pruned out properly so they really don't get any bigger than that, because we get enough fruit off them. And I want to make sure they're bushing out at the bottom and not bulging out the top. I want to keep the citrus also trimmed back. I haven't really gotten much production off of, except for the Robertson navel orange here. I haven't really gotten much off of the other trees. I already had one of these. These are delicious. These Robertson navel, just delicious. These. It's going to be a very productive tree. It's going to be happier. We've gradually started cutting this tree back to allow, to get, so we don't have the overhang over the side and that mess. A lot more cutting to be done on this tree to reduce the size of that and let it get bushier. Got to do it carefully though, because persimmon trees are kind of brittle. And this Samuto, what they call the, well, some call it Israeli, but a Palestine orange, this has never really even produced flowers. So I want to cut this and really shock this plant. And to do that shock, sometimes when you shock, you'll get, in spring, we'll get some decent growth of some flowering buds there. But we gotta prune this back kind of severely to try to wake that tree up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my ladder. I don't want over here, pardon the sun, feels good. We had our first heavy frosting last night. I want to keep this Seville orange down to size 2, because I don't need a lot of sour oranges. Okay, our Valencia tree's been doing pretty good too. This is our juice tree, and they should ripen in a month or so. All right, so I'm gonna get started on these citrus trees and just sort of top cut them. I am back. I had to get a new set of pruning shears. For some reason we had an old set kind of blown out though. It's got chips in the blade and all that, so I finally bit the bullet. I got the Fiskars. I think the theory of doing pruning on fruit trees is you want to kind of open up the center like a vase. You want to get some of the growth from the inside, so that remove some of that growth so that the sunlight can penetrate in as the fruit is maturing. So it makes it a lot better. So I'm gonna go grab the ladder and finally we can get going here. Make sure you got some good gloves on. All scratched up doing this. This stuff can be really scratchy here. And I'm gonna try to clear out. The first thing I want to do is do a little bit of top cutting, because I really don't want this thing to be any taller than it is right now. This will encourage it to kind of bush out. Some of the branches that are growing on the inside, pointing inward, I'll remove them to kind of open up the center here. May mean it's going to be a little bit of a slower year next year, but we're going to be on the road anyway, so it's not really going to matter too much. interfering and coming over. Take that off. Let's keep this one short too. It's kind of interfering with the elephant heart plum tree. That's good. Good cut right there. There. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do from the position I'm in to get that done. So I can now reach this over here. On the top, cut this so this doesn't go any higher. We'll have a very manageable plum trees. Okay. So I'm going to shift the ladder around and get around to the other side. Now I'm also trying to preserve the light that comes over here too, until I can trim back that big non-fruiting mulberry bush over there. One with the show. That's why I always tell you guys, if you have a rancho, there's always something to do. Always something. Always something that needs doing out here. Make sure your ladder is good and steady. Stop, cut this one right here. Yeah, basically it's just a way to let more sun to the inside for a healthier tree. Can't have branches growing every which way. Gets kind of crazy. I'm going to turn the ladder around so I can kind of reach in a little bit. I don't like to reach in backwards. Here, let me go do that. Better here. Nice. It's beautiful. It was had a lot of frost last night, but that really cleared off very nicely. And the sun is shining brightly. It's now going to be, it's our coldest time of the year coming now. Perfect time to prune these trees up. Crazy growth. Because you know, plum trees they grow well plum crazy, right? Probably where the expression came from, huh? You're just plum crazy. See, I'm going to take out this whole low piece here. This whole branch is just crossing right in the middle here. I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to remove this one. That's crossing into the middle too. I think you'll be able to see in a minute. That just a lot more open to the center. I'll trim some of this back up here too, and then this will generate real nice in springtime. It'll probably reach the same height as this year by next fall, but that's okay. Just prune it back again. Yeah, that's called the open vase center there. That's what I'm trying to achieve. Getting rid of a lot of the crossed interior branches. I see one more over here. It's kind of crossing into the center. It's best to clip that off, and that really achieves the openness that will allow a lot more growth and a lot more fruiting on the inside there. So one tree down. Gonna now move on to our elephant heart and see if we can get this one shaped up a bit too. This one seems to grow a lot truer, but I just want to keep the, I want to try to keep the size down here on this one. Get at the bush a little bit out there, and then concentrate on cleaning up the interior of it. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this. This one just seems to grow a lot neater over here. You look at how this plum branch just kind of goes inside willy-nilly. So that's got to be removed because that's going to interfere. That's going to interfere with getting sunlight in, and it's probably not going to produce anything on the inside. So I'm just gradually shaping it. You'll notice I'm also removing, for safety, some of the lower branches that protrude out of here so nobody impales. These plums tend to be very kind of scratchy and very sharp. There are little branches on it, so. Okay, here's another one running up parallel that's kind of interfering with the program there. I don't want it to cock over the whole program. That's removed. This one should go too. Here, I'm just too high right now to get that. I'm just kind of looking up here, seeing what I need to trim up a little bit high here to kind of keep the height. Keep the height good. Nice and green in the back, huh? Alright, always something to do on the Rancho. I think that's coming along pretty good, opening that up in the interior there. I'll leave this center one here. It's kind of going off to the left side, which is fine. Hopefully this will grow off to the right side and give a little bit of balance to the tree. So all I really have to do now is just cut for height a little bit, and tree number 2 will be done here. That will wrap up the elephant heart. It's all opened in the interior now. It's all been cut for height. All the crossing branches have been removed. And make sure when you're doing, if you're doing this kind of pruning work, make very sure to wear some type of glasses, okay? Because it's very easy to get speared on these very brittle, very sharp fruit tree branches here. Next, we got a little bit of work to do on the peach tree, our wonderful peach tree that produced those wonderful fruits that we put into those almond or coconut and peach pancakes. Clean this one up now. meringue pie soon, huh? Won't be long, another month or so. Having the meringue. The last thing we have to do, well, last cutting we have to do, I'm gonna let the let the Robertson grow as much as it wants, because that's gonna be one of our prime producers. Beautiful, luscious, big oranges. But I need to shock this tree. This tree just seems to be in a stupor, you know. It just seems to be in a daze. So I'm gonna get the hedge clipper out and really give this thing a heck of a haircut here. Maybe that'll encourage a flush of flowering. We'll see. I don't think this is generally something that you really want to do to a citrus tree. Generally, you just shape it a little bit and let it get bushy. But I've had this planted for 4 years now, and I've only seen one flower like 2 years ago, just one flower. So this tree, it's past its sell-by date. You know, it's got to be productive this year or out it goes. So when I do this severe pruning here, that'll give a lot of different areas for growth here, and hopefully by the time this is really swinging into full gear and bursting out, it'll have a lot of fruit potential to it too. So here we go. There she goes. Like I said, it's not something we do here often on the Rancho, but we need to have production here. We need to have, you know, we enjoy lots of oranges. We give a lot of fruit here away, here on the in the area. So we need to make sure that we're being productive. We'll see how this bushes out. It'll probably be February, and then it'll probably rocket out all kinds of growth. And we'll see if we get any little citrus blossoms on it. Keep your fingers crossed, or otherwise, you're out of here. All right, everybody. Next thing I got to do is just engage in a little bit of cleanup, and then we got to fire up the mower and try to get this stuff ground up, okay? Let's start pulling this back to our grinding location. I took the opportunity to free up that back corner a little bit and create a little breathing room for the orange tree, and also for our cactus that's way back there in the corner too. Call me crazy, I guess I'm just a cactus lover. Look at how much nicer everything looks, all under control, all neatened up. Hopefully the shock therapy works good for that orange tree. We've got everything else really looking sharp here today. This is the way an orchard should be maintained for a lot of production. So even if we have to give up a little bit for 2018, it's not that big of a deal, because we'll have trees that are better behaved and better shaped for the future. Looks pretty darn good. Thank you all for being along today. Your thumbs up are always appreciated. I love having you along when I do projects, big or small. You're along for them all. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.